Good evening everybody and welcome to another episode of South York's Allotment. It's been a while since I've done a bit of videoing and footage. I've been that busy with work and things, and popping down to Allotment just requires using the time wisely rather than using some video to bring you what I've been up to when it's pretty much same old this time of year. But anyway, I'm just in the process of pulling up the onions, and there's some cracking sizes of the bulbs. These were Stuttgarter and Steron, and they were from heat treated sets. As you can see, just for scale, probably about 4 inches across. Really good. So I'll just pull a few up. Now if you haven't got I'd just probably say usually use a fork, but if you haven't got a fork, just rock the bulb a bit, just like so, and it'll just gently release, knock the soil off. I'll show you the flags. Cracking onion that. What I'm going to do, I've got a bread tray. I'm going to put that bread tray on top of that pallet, or I could just even use a pallet and use the lats. And then I've got some plastic cloches what I'm going to put over the top. The ones that are still stood upright, I'm going to leave those because they're still growing. It's only when they flop over. As you can see, these ones in this area, they're all flopped over. But these ones here, what's still stood up perpendicular, they're still growing a bit, so I'm going to leave them as late as possible. So I'm just going to get cracked on with this then, and I'll show you the end results. There we go then, all the onions are now nicely drying in the evening sunshine. I've put some through the lats of the crate underneath, and I've also draped a bread tray on top just for the added bit of onions. As you can see, there's probably about another 2 dozen or so to pick, so I'll keep putting them on the bread tray as and when they start flopping over. There actually is a couple here which can probably go on. These are all, they're not going to grow anymore anyway. Like I say, once they flop over, that's pretty much just a telltale sign that they are ready for harvesting. So I'm really pleased with the onions this year. They've done very well, and hopefully if I dry them out correctly, do the correct procedure and they dry out really well, then they should store nicely right up until April, May of next year. I've discarded some of them what I've got like white rot on and just totally just gone, they're no good at all, really soft and squidgy, and they've probably got too much water, or if they were under the canopy of the pumpkin and nettles they might have just got dampened off. But that's the pumpkin as well, there's 5 in there, and the size of them is absolutely humongous. There's one there, I think that's the variety Atlantic Giant, but you can all see yellow flickers. I think I've counted about 9 so far. There are some smaller ones which are growing, so be a few come Halloween. Now the beans this year, my runner beans, they've just produced that amount of flowers. It's just been unbelievable. They've really cropped heavy this year. You know, I'm coming down every 2 or 3 days and getting a carrier bag off. No word of a lie. It's done fantastic, and they're still producing loads and loads of beans. Can't keep up. Freezer's full, so I'm just ending up giving a lot away. Taters, I've been taking these now. These are all ready. Pulling the tops out. To be fair, I'm still in the earlies, and the main crops are doing great, as is the beetroot. I'm not too bothered about spending much time down here weeding. I don't, can do what it likes for me. We've been told we've got until the 1st of March to get off here by the private owner, as he wants to put planning permission in for houses. So unfortunately there's 16 plots and gardeners who are going to be out of a nice little hobby. But thankfully for me, I've got the other plot, but this absolutely dwarfs it, this plot here. This is massive. It can fit about 5 or 6 of mine at the other place in this one. So it's a shame really. But there we go, unless something can be drastically opposed or changed, then it looks like we're all coming off. We're not completely out the buildings and the greenhouses, but we can't actually grow anything in the ground, so nothing can be grown. But it's been here for donkey's years, 100 years plus. This building here used to have horses and pigs in at one bit before my granddad took it on 45 years ago, I think you said it was. So he's a little disappointed. I've got some calabrese growing on there, some cabbages, and the courgettes have gone absolutely wild this year as well. As with anything, you only usually need a couple, but I've got a couple of shows, so I'm just giving myself every opportunity to pick the best ones, what are all uniform and similar in size. Carrots are doing great in the boxes, as are the peppers and the cucumber. That's put on some great growth in the last couple of weeks. So that's it for down here at plot 1, the big plot. So I just thought I'd give you a roundup of what is growing. I've not really got any plans, unfortunately, because there's no point in doing much. This will be the last growing year by all accounts, like I say, unless anything changes. So time will tell if anything can be sorted in that time between finishing and next year, but there's a couple of people have already given up. There's about 5 empty plots on here now, so I think if the landowner keeps seeing people dropping out like that, it's all in his favour, unfortunately. But I'll keep you up to date as and when, if anything does occur and anything changes. But 2019 could be the last year on this particular plot. A shame, but there we go. That's what things have become these days with building houses. So I've just made my way down to the second plot now, and this is the plot what's going to be the one where I'm going to be using all my growing stuff next year. As I've mentioned in the earlier clip of this video, the other allotment is being put up for development, so unfortunately we're getting booted off, and this is going to be our one and only sole allotment plot. So I'll just give you a quick tour. Now I've got these French beans here, and they're cropping really heavy. I've had loads of pickings off them, really nice beans, excellent produce so far. A couple of beds here, I'm just on a bit of a project. This area here, where these 6 are going to be, I'm going to make this into one big large bed, and then I might just section it off with some lavender down the middle, or some other form of flowers anyway, just so it's profound and you can see each section, and then I can just split it off into little bits of areas where I'm going to be planting and sowing stuff next year. Now I've had a couple of rogue parsnips in here, which is nice. See the leaves just floating about in the wind here, so I think that's from a couple of years ago when I let the parsnips run to seed, and then I just recycled some of it and sown some last year. Sweet corn is now starting to cob up. It's not a tall variety by any stretch of the imagination, but it has got a couple of cobs coming on each plant, so that'll be nice. The squash is now producing fruit. There's one of the first big ones where I've seen, so that's nice. There is a couple more knocking about somewhere. There's one. So excellent stuff. Sweet peas, look at those flowers, absolute quality amount of flowers. I've been picking them numerously, probably every 2 days, but they still keep pumping out loads and loads. Carrots are now developing well. This is one of those old reservoirs, what was part of the old heating system we had, and as you can see in there, scratch out a bit more. Some nice carrots there, they're about 1 inch wide at the top. Now the dahlia, the black cherry dahlia, it's the first time I've ever grown a dahlia, but wow, I'm absolutely amazed and astounded by the amount of flowers you get on here. Absolutely thrilled to bits. Looks absolutely fantastic and gorgeous. This one's just slightly running out to its best at the moment, but there you go, the variety black cherry, absolutely stunning. And the gladioli now, I just need to tie these up a bit because they're leaning over due to the winds, but they're coming out. There's some nice coral peach colour there, and then like a nice lilac and purple one coming through. So the flowers have done excellent for me this year. I've been really pleased, and really thinking of pushing for more next year, actually, just to bring a bit of colour about. I've been thinning out the grape, and there's an absolute abundance in here. As you can see, it's just, they're all starting to turn now. Some of them are green, but some of them are actually turning to be black cherries. Grape Superior Seedless, that is a green variety there, and the black variety is Boscoop Glory. And they've done absolutely fantastic in here. The leaves, massive abundance of leaves, so that's great. You know, they're just dying back now, and then once I've harvested the grapes off, I'll train these vines through here, although I am thinking that I might bring it outside because it's restricting me for growing things in here next year. And if I've not got a greenhouse down the second plot, I won't have anywhere for me carrot box, my peppers and some tomatoes, so I'm bearing that in mind. So just taking you into the section now. The onions and shallots, I've just dug them out, they're just drying on the tops now. The leeks are doing fantastic, really putting on some good growth, because we've had some nice weather, and the water, the rain content we've had as well has really brought them on. Beetroot's looking good, as are the calabreese. This great big vine here is a pumpkin, it's trailing its way around in between the raised beds. And there's the first fruit set in there, and I've got another one just sitting in there, so that's nicely coming along. In here I've got some cabbages, I've got some ground cabbages, they're bulking up now, excellent. Some collies in there, some more cabbages and a couple of courgettes, but I am letting a couple of them run to marrows because there is a class in one of the shows which is for marrows, so if I leave that now I've got 3 weeks till the show and I'll have something decent to choose from. So that's pretty much for it for down here. It's a bit untidy, it could do with a good grass cut, but apart from that, yeah, it's producing absolute copious amounts of vegetables, so I'm really pleased. It's just a shame that the other plot, like I say, is just coming to an end next year, so 2019 will be the last growing year on the other plot, but it also gives me a chance to concentrate and make this into something quicker than I predicted. I thought this would be like a 4-year plot, 4-year plan progress. I've had 2 full years now. I took it in October 2017, so 2018, this year's 2 full years. I wanted it to be done by 2021, what I wanted it to be like. This side's pretty much done. I'm happy with all the raised beds, although just where that ragwort is, where the butterfly is, that area there, I may use some of these 6-foot sleepers just to make a bit of a trench bed, and there will house my runner beans for next year. So it's all got things in the pipeline and the planning, so it's just putting everything into practice and making sure it all fits and suits within the rest of the allotment. So that's it for down here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Just before I go, I'm just going to do a bit of a potato reveal for you. The variety is Charlotte, and as you can see, they were planted on the 19th of March this year, second early, salad potato. So I'll see what we have. I'm not expecting too much, but I think there were 3 potatoes grown in this, 3 seed potatoes. It's nice and moist anyway. We've had, like I say, we've had a lot of rain. Lovely potato there, size of an egg. Oh, this is fantastic, very nice. Nice little surprise. With dinner due later this afternoon. What a nice little harvest this is. I'll weigh these when I get home. I'll put the amount in the bottom of this video just now. And you can see how much we've got. Well, yeah, it's not too bad. I'm quite happy with this, to be honest. Nice little harvest. I will be bringing you footage next time, probably of the build up to the shows, the 2 shows I enter every year. So I will be bringing bits and pieces to you as and when I dig up all the different vegetables required for each particular class. I think that's about it now. A couple more knocking about. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Not bad. Very pleased with that. Thanks again. See you again soon.